bonamassa, alsjeblieft.
It was very fun. We're doing a lot of this kind of stuff. When I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I was very into it. And there used to be schools in America. They used to call up my parents and they used to say, "Hey, we hear you have a boy. Will you bring the boy to so-and-so school and do a concert?" Because I had like 3 or 4 pieces. We'd do a Mozart piece. I'd do a Paganini piece for the shredder in the room, and I would do like more of like just, you know, it was like really kind of like dry, quote unquote. I know they're filming this, but boring stuff, you know. And but I always knew we were going to do this thing because my mom would show up to my school after school, and she'd pick me up in the car, and she would pick me up in the car, and my guitar would be in the back seat, and there would always be a McDonald's bag in the front full of chicken McNuggets. That was my price to do this. Some things haven't changed, Andre, really. And I always knew this, so we'd go after school and I'd have a blast. And I did this till I was like around 8 years old. And then I discovered this thing called the blues. And now from classical music, now classical meaning you cannot interpret the music at all. Like if the notes were written like this, you had to play it like that. Now when I discovered the blues, I had gone from playing, you know, very kind of like dry stuff that couldn't be interpreted to playing stuff that sounded like this. And my whole world changed. And I was like, you mean to tell me, Joe Bonamassa, that I could basically play anything that comes into my head? I can do anything I want? And mind you, I've always had that 31, basically haven't matured since I've been 8. And I was like, you know what, this is a lot more fun. A couple things I noticed. 2. When I would go to the classical recitals, there would be an auditorium full of people that all looked like Grandma and Grandpa. And I was like, wow, okay. And then when I go and do the blues concerts, there were younger people. I was, at this point in time, 11, so there were cute girls there. And I was like, this is way hip. And I wanted to buy the Super Nintendo that had the game called, you had to pay either $100 US, which would be about, I don't know, 85 euro, or 129 US, which would be about 100 yen. So those are my original goals when I first started. So, we cut to the first day, and we play this little, well, it's a restaurant, really, and in my hometown of Utica, New York. And 600 people showed up. I think my mom got on the telephone. 600 people showed up. And we charged $5 at the door, so which was 3,000 US. So, the day one, we made $3,000. And my dad showed me how much money we made. Now, mind you, they were all in $5 bills, which you would think I was a drug dealer, but I wasn't. They were in $5 bills. And when I saw that, I thought I was like a millionaire. I thought I was set for life. Don't have to work anymore, right? So long paper routes, so long mowing the grass for 30 cents. You know, so long forever, all of that. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, I hit the jackpot. Now, to an 11-year-old kid, that's like hitting the jackpot. And all of a sudden, like Zeus himself, from above comes a hand. The hand of my mother, grabbing the money, going, this money is going into the bank. And you will not be able to touch this. I said, well, what about my Super Nintendo? Because mind you, that was my original goal, was to get a Super Nintendo. Eventually, I still had to mow the grass. I still had to deliver papers. I still had to do all the things that a normal kid would have to do to earn the right to spend the money that I earned. But when I got that Super Nintendo, I loved that thing. And I still actually own it, really. And I love that thing, and it made me appreciate it a lot more. And that set into motion a series of events that started a 20-year career. And shortly after that event, I met a guy named B.B. King. How many people have heard? So, he puts my materials down, and a copy of the newspaper. And the newspaper said, on the front cover, local blues boy jams with Blues King. And then there's a picture of me and B.B. King on the cover of the local newspaper. And he goes, Mr. Bonamassa, my wife and I were wondering if you'd be so kind as to autograph this newspaper. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, I knew that I could rule that school without fear. And I could rule that school, and I was like going, this is a very cool job I have. And the reason why I tell that story is because a week later, a camera, like you see in here, come up to my school because of a show that they saw me play with B.B. King. And a week after that, I was signed to EMI Records when I was about 13 years old. And that was the beginning of my career. And I recorded for almost 20 years, and it's what they call my big break. And if it wasn't for B.B. King, I would not be standing here today. If it wasn't for B.B. King, I would not have made 11 albums in 20 years, and I wouldn't have the career that I have. What do they say here?
Yeah, 1969, and I know you